Okay, here's our video on we're going to add and we're going to subtract integers. And we should know what an integer is. This is the symbol for integer, z. Comes from a German word, means Zahlen, just means number. So it's any number that is not, here's the key word, not a fraction or a decimal. And they could be negative or they could be positive. Right? So I can have -2 is an integer. 0 is an integer. 2 is an integer. But you can't have 2.5, 2.6, -2.5, 1/4, 1/5. Those are not integers. So obviously, you know we've been adding integers. 5 plus 2 we know is 7. These are both positive numbers. But if we put some negatives to them, 5 plus 2 is actually -3, and we'll explain why. So let's look at a number line. Here's our number line. And we have from -5, and we have over here the positive zone, right? So everything over here is positive, and everything over here is negative. And this is a this is a horizontal line. We can also do it vertically, right? We can also do it vertically like that. But we'll stay horizontal for now. So let's add using a number line. That's our first method. Well, we'll just write up here. We said -5 plus 3. And we said the answer was -2. Well, let's explain why. So it says -5. We're going to start at -5. Start at the first number. And when you see a positive, you go this way. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and there's your answer, -2. So again, you started with the first number. It said plus +3 plus 3, so we're just going to add 3. And we'll get to, so here it is, 1, 2, 3, -2. Let's do another one. All right, same numbers, but you see we have a +5 plus a -3. And you see we have parentheses here just so it blocks the plus and the minus, right? Otherwise it looks kind of weird. So, you don't want it to look like this. We'll bring it up here. We don't want it to say this. It looks kind of weird. That's why we just block the negative sign with the parentheses. So here's the 5. We're going to start at 5. There's my dot on 5. And it says add -3. -3 is that way, right? So we'll just go backwards. 1, 2, 3. And we have 2. So the answer would be 2. All right, so in the previous answer, we said it was -2. And this answer was 2. Now, what if I gave you this on a number line? How would you do? Let's say I said -7 plus -3. How would you do that one? -7 plus -3. All right, here's our number line again. -7 plus -3. Let's write it up here again. -7 plus -3. Well, where should we start? -7. All right, so -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's -7. And it says, when you see the negative, go backwards, right? Go backwards. Add -3. 1, 2, 3. So the answer is -10. -10. Okay. So this question you have to actually, this is your first question you will email to me, is -5 plus -4 plus -2. What do you think that answer would be on a number line? So just give me the answer. That's your first question. Now to answer this, just do one at a time. Do -5 plus -4, do that, and then do -2. That's your first question. What if I had -8 plus 2 plus -4? Now again, with addition, you should remember you can do -8 plus -4 first. You can do 2 plus -4. It's commutative. Remember that. So let's make a number line. I'll raise this up a little. There we go. Make a long number line here. Try to get it as straight as we can. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you start, but we can start at -8. So let's just put a 0 there. We got negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just put a couple of them in there. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Just put a couple. Negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12. Let's just start there. And we'll put a couple in here. See what we get. So if we start at negative 8, there's our dot at negative 8. And then it says plus 2. 2 is positive, so we're going this way. 1, 2. Now we're at negative 6. But then it says add negative 4. That means you go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you should be at negative 10. So the answer would be negative 10. So if you didn't understand that, rewind the tape and see what we got. Okay, so you can do these with number lines as the phone rings with the question. Or we can also do them thinking of money. So let's think of money as another way of solving this. So let's say I gave you this. Bring that up. Get rid of that arrow. There we go. Let's say I gave you negative 12 plus 5. So we can put this on a number line, right? We can start at negative 12 and then go forward 5, go to the right 5. Or we can think of it like this. When you see a negative, think of owing money. So here you can say you owe $12. This is another way of doing it. But you have, when you see a plus with no sign, you have $5. So you have $5 in your pocket. You owe someone 12. You're going to give $5 to the person you owe, and what would be left that you owe? You still owe more money, right? How much do you think you would have left? Well, if you just subtract the 5 out, you still will owe money. So there's that negative sign. You still will owe. How much will you owe? 7. You'll owe 7. Because you paid 5 plus 5. You owe 12, you gave them 5. Think of that with money, and that may help you. Let's do another one. What if I said negative 11 plus 13? So here, you owe $11, but you already have 13, so you can pay the $11, and you'll be left with how much in your pocket? 2, right? Positive 2. So that's 2 ways we did addition, right? We did it with a number line, and we did it with owing money. So when you see a negative, you owe. When you see a positive, you don't. Let's bring this up. Let's say I had this one. What if I said negative 13 plus negative 10? Well, you owe money, and you owe more money. So add them together. How much would you still owe? You're not paying anyone because you don't have anything to pay. You owe, see there's that negative because you owe $23. You still owe $23. So you owe, you owe, you owe. You owe, but you have 5. You owe, but you have 13. So that's a way of remembering. Now there's another way we can do this, the third way. And again, you can pick the way that you like best. So let's do a third way. So here's our third method. You keep the sign of the number with the highest absolute value. And you should know what absolute value is from 6th grade. And subtract. So absolute value again, let's bring this up in case you don't remember. It's how far a number is from 0. And here's the symbol for absolute value. Right? So if I put a negative 5, an absolute value will always be positive. How far is negative 5 from 0? It's 5, right? The absolute value of negative 5 is 5 because it's 5 away from 0. And if I said, what's the absolute value of 5? Well, it's 5. It's 5 away from 0. So you'll never have a negative answer for absolute value. So if we put a number up here, if I said negative 12 plus 3, well, we know 3 is greater than negative 12, but over here we said highest absolute value. Negative 12 has the highest absolute value. It's 12 away from 0, so it has the highest. So the rule is keep the sign of that number. So we know the answer is going to be negative, and then we subtract. What's 12 minus 3? 9. And again, you could have also said, well, I owe $12, but I have 3, so I still owe 9. Or you could have made a number line. Started at negative 12 and moved 3 spaces. Okay, let's try this one. What if I gave you 5 plus negative 9? What number has the highest absolute value? Negative 9 has the highest absolute value, because the absolute value of negative 9 is 9, right? So subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. But again, we're going to keep the sign of the number with the highest absolute value. So you know it's going to be negative, and we just subtracted negative 4. So I'm going to give you 2 more questions that you have to hand in to me. Here's questions 2 and 3. Bring that down. Oh, there we go. There's questions 2 and 3. Write that down. Question 4, I'm going to say, just write this for question 4. What is the symbol for an integer, and what is an integer? That's question 4. And question 5 is, where did we get the symbol from? That's question 5. Now, we did say we'll talk about subtraction. We're also going to talk about subtraction in another video. I'll just do a brief one. With subtraction, you got to remember, and we'll do these again in another video, keep, change, change. If you remember keep, change, change, as it keeps going like that, okay. So if I said 5 minus 2, you already know that 5 minus 2 is 3. You've known that. But if we do keep, change, change, it means we keep the 5. We don't touch it. We're going to change subtraction always to addition. Right? And then we're going to change the sign of the 2. The 2 was positive, so we're going to make it negative. And then we just do the rules of addition. Right? You have 5. But you owe 2, so now you're left with 3, the same answer. Keep, change, change. All right, so what would this answer be? Keep the negative 7. What do we do with subtraction? Change it. What about that sign? Change it. And if you have 7, if you owe 7, but you have 7, then you'll be left with nothing, right? You paid the person off. Keep in mind with this, a number and its opposite, the opposite of 7 is negative 7, will always be 0. The opposite number added to itself, right? 7 and its opposite will be 0. One more, and then we'll do more subtraction in the next video, because you can also use the number line with subtraction. So if I said 3 minus 5 minus 2, negative 3, there we go. Try that. We keep, right? We change the sign. Let's do this first. Negative 3 plus negative 5. You owe is negative 8. And we have that. All right, I'll bring this down so we see it. We keep, we change the sign. And this will be, what do you think? Negative 10. Great. So I'm going to give you question 6 to hand me. I'll erase this up. All right. If I can find my eraser, that would be better. So this is question 6, right? Negative 9 minus 5 plus 2. This is a challenge. See if you can do that. And hand that in to me. All right. Great job today.